Myself, Dr. Sasikant Dwivedi, Associate Professor, Department of Physics, UP College, Varanasi. Today, we are going to deal with a most relevant and most successful and widely used communication system known as optical fiber communication system. In the modern computer era, the requirement of data is increasing exponentially day by day. So, we introduce optical fiber in communication. Optical fiber has a large information carrying capacity. There are no crosstalk between fiber to fiber because any information or signal is confined within the core of the fiber. The topic of my lecture is optical fiber communication. So first, we will explain what is optical fiber, construction of optical fiber, types of optical fiber, losses in optical fiber, communication in fiber, how to light propagate along the fiber, transmitter, repeaters, receivers, noise in fibers, advantages and disadvantages of fiber, and finally the application of optical fiber. We first introduce what is optical fiber. Optical fiber is actually a waveguide for light and operate in accordance with the principle known as total internal reflection. In this communication, total internal reflection phenomena is involved. In contrast to electrical conduction, there is low loss and signal can be conveyed over considerable distance without amplification. Optical fiber consists a dielectric core of high refractive index surrounded by a lower refractive index profile called cladding. In this figure, we see that the central portion of the fiber is known as core and the surrounding medium is cladding and other layers is protect the optical fiber. Basically, there are two portions in the optical fiber, core and cladding. The third and second layers are for protecting the optical fiber. Now, in the next slide, classification of optical fiber. How to classify the optical fiber? There are two types of optical fiber, step index fiber and graded index fiber. In step index fiber, it consists of core surrounded by a cladding. Throughout the core region, the refractive index profile is constant, the refractive index is uniform, and throughout the cladding, the refractive index is uniform. Just like we say that N1 is the refractive index of the core and N2 is the refractive index of cladding. Always N1 is greater than N2. But in the case of graded index fiber, the refractive index profile of the core decreases as radial distance from the fiber axis. When we go from center of the core to upward direction or downward direction, the refractive index profile changes. We can say the refractive index decreases when we go from center to upward or downward. But in figure, we see that in step index fiber, the refractive index profile is constant throughout the core. Just in figure this, we can see that in the region core, the refractive index N1, but beyond the core, the refractive index is N2. Always N1 is greater than N2. In the case of graded index fiber, the refractive index profile changes. The refractive index profile changes within the core and constant within the cladding. Means the refractive index profile is square law medium. In the next slide, there are another types of classification: single mode fiber and multi-mode fiber. These fibers are used for single mode fibers are used for long distance communication. Multi-mode fibers are used for short distance communication. In single mode fiber, the signal is confined within the core and parallel to the fiber axis or Z axis. In the multimode step index fiber, in this figure, the angle of incidence of different rays are different. Different rays takes different path. If the angle of incidence is I, the light enters the core and reflected by the core cladding interface. Here, the path is a straight line because the refractive index profile is homogeneous. We know that in the homogeneous medium, the ray path is straight, but in graded index fiber, where the refractive index profile changes with x, then in this figure we see that the path is curved. The path is curved. There are different modes, higher order modes, lower order modes, and very low, and also lower order mode. The information is most secure in single mode fiber. Now, in the next slide, we explain what is total internal reflection, because total internal reflection phenomena is involved in optical fiber communication. Total internal reflection is the phenomenon that involves the reflection of all the incident light of the boundary. TIR only takes place when both of the following two conditions are there. A light ray is traveling from denser to rarer medium. Second, the angle of incidence for the light ray is greater than the critical angle. In this figure, we see that when the angle of incidence is greater than theta, then total internal reflection phenomena occurs. In this slide, we explain how the signal propagates through the fiber. We select a single mode, a multi-mode step index fiber. Here, theta I is the angle of incidence, theta R is the refracted angle, phi is the angle at core cladding interface. In the core region, the refractive index N1, in the cladding region, the refractive index N2. Beyond the optical fiber, the refractive index is N0. To understand light guidance in an optical fiber, we consider a ray entering the fiber with angle theta I. If the angle of incidence at the core cladding interface phi is greater than the critical angle, phi c is equal to sine inverse N2 by N1. Then the ray will undergo total internal reflection at the interface. Here, the interface in the upward direction, here the interface in the downward direction, because the fiber is cylindrical and there is a cylindrical symmetry. If we consider a medium in which the refractive index depends only on x coordinate, according to Snell's law, n1 sin phi 1 is equal to n2 sin phi 2 is equal to n3 sin phi 3 is equal to constant, where phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 are the angle of incidence at the various interfaces. If theta 1, theta 2, theta 3 are the corresponding angle that the ray makes with z-axis or fiber axis. Thus, we can write n1 sin theta 1 is equal to n2 sin n1 cos theta 1 is equal to n2 cos theta 2 is equal to n3 cos theta 3 is equal to beta is constant. Beta is a constant. Thus, nx cos theta x is equal to beta. There is condition for guided ray. If n1 is greater than beta, beta is greater than n2, then the ray is guided by the optical fiber. If n2 is greater than beta, then the ray will interact at the core cladding interface at a finite angle and will be transmitted beyond the cladding. Such rays are not guided. In this figure, when beta is equal to n1, the signal or the information takes a path parallel to the fiber axis or parallel to the z axis. If beta is greater than n2, the signal adopt a curved path just like curve second. But when beta is less than n2, the information or the signal is going towards the cladding, and this ray is unguided ray. Within the core, all the signals are guided in the guided mode, but beyond the core, all the information, all the signals are unguided. So we always try to beta is greater than n2 and less than n1. The most important terms in the optical fiber communication is numerical aperture. Numerical aperture gives the information about such type of optical fiber. Numerical aperture represents the light gathering power of that particular optical fiber. Consider a ray that is incident on the entrance aperture of the fiber, making an angle I with the axis, with the fiber axis. Let the refracted ray makes an angle theta with the fiber axis. Assuming the outside the medium, the refractive index profile is n0, we get sin I by sin theta is equal to n1 by n0. If the ray has to suffer total internal reflection at the core cladding interface, sin phi is equal to cos theta is greater than n2 by n1. Thus, sin theta is less than 1 minus n2 by n1 square power half, and we must have sin I is less than n1 by n0 in bracket root 1 minus n2 by n1 square. If n1 square minus n2 square is greater than or equal to n0 square, then for all values of I, total internal reflection phenomena will occur at the core cladding interface. So numerical aperture is the most important things which explain the properties of the optical fiber. The maximum angle of incidence or sin I for a ray to be guided is given by sin Im is equal to under root 1 n1 square minus n2 square When n1 square is less than n2 square plus 1, sin Im is equal to 1 when n1 square is greater than n2 square plus 1. If a cone of light is incident on one end of the fiber, it will be guided through the fiber provided the semi-angle of the cone is less than Im. This angle is a measure of the light gathering power of the fiber, and as such one defines the numerical aperture of the fiber by following equation. Numerical aperture is equal to root n1 square minus n2 square, where we have assumed that n1 square is less than n2 square plus 1, which is true for all practical fiber. To get a numerical aperture, for example, a typical optical fiber has a refractive index of the core n1 is equal to 1.48 and the refractive index of cladding is 1.46. If substituting these value of n1 and n2 in the formula of numerical aperture, we find numerical aperture is equal to 0.24. Thus, we can find maximum angle of incidence psi Im is nearly equal to 14 degree for such values of n1 and n2. Thus, numerical aperture represents the light gathering power of the fiber. There are a dispersion present in optical fiber also. There are different types of dispersion: chromatic dispersion, model dispersion, material dispersion, pulse dispersion, and so many types of dispersion are there. We explain in this slide chromatic dispersion. Chromatic dispersion results from the spectral width of the emitter. The spectral width determines the number of different wavelengths that are emitted from laser or LED. The smaller the spectral width, the fewer the number of wavelengths that are emitted, because longer wavelength travels faster than the shorter wavelength. These longer wavelengths will arrive at the end of the fiber ahead of the shorter one, spreading out the signal. Here we select a laser and LED. One way how can we minimize chromatic dispersion? One way to decrease chromatic dispersion is to narrow the spectral width of the transmitter. Laser, for example, has a more narrow spectral width than LEDs. A monochromatic laser emits only one wavelength and therefore does not contribute to chromatic aberration, chromatic dispersion. So, monochromatic laser light is important for removing the chromatic dispersion. Now, second, the modal dispersion. Modal dispersion deals with the path of each light ray. Most transmitters emit many different modes. Some of these lights ray will travel straight through the center of the fiber, while the other repeatedly bounce off the core cladding boundary to zigzag their way along the waveguide. The modes that enter at sharp angle are called higher order modes. These modes take much longer to travel through the fiber than the low order mode and therefore contribute to modal dispersion. In this figure, there are different modes. Higher order modes, the path is longer. That modes which are propagated along the fiber axis are known as axial mode, or near about the axis of the fiber is known as the lower order mode. But if the angle is sharp, that mode are known as longer or higher order mode. Its path is longer. In the next slide, we select graded index fiber. Previously, we can say in the graded index fiber, the refractive index profile in the core is decreasing when we go from fiber axis to the core cladding interface. In the graded index fiber, the light follows a more curved path. The high order mode is spent most of the time traveling in the lower index fiber layer and cladding layers near the outside of the fiber. These lower index core layers allow the light to travel faster than in the higher index center layer. Therefore, their higher velocity compensated for the longer path of these higher order mode. Model dispersion can be completely eliminated by using a single mode fiber, because in the single mode fiber the information adopt a path which is parallel to the fiber axis. As its name implies, single mode fiber transmits only one mode of the light, so there is no spreading of the signal due to model dispersion. A monochromatic laser with single mode fiber completely eliminates dispersion in an optical waveguide, but is usually used in a very long distance application because of its complexity and expense. Now, next, the material dispersion. It occurs because the spreading of the light pulse is dependent on the wavelength interaction with the refractive index of the fiber core. Different wavelengths travel at different speed in the fiber material. Different wavelengths of a light pulse that enters the fiber at the same time but exits the fiber at different time. When a temporal pulse propagates through a homogeneous medium, it propagates with a group velocity. Group velocity Vg is equal to 1 by dk by d omega, where dk represents the propagation constant, and we find 1 by Vg is equal to dk by d omega is equal to d by d omega of omega by c n omega. 1 by Vg is equal to 1 by c n omega plus omega dn by d omega. We know the free space wavelength lambda 0 is equal to twice pi c by omega. Thus, omega dn by d omega is equal to twice pi by c by lambda dn by d lambda into minus twice pi c by omega 0. Thus, 1 by Vg is equal to 1 by c into n minus lambda 0 dn by t lambda 0, where in the bracket term n lambda 0 minus lambda 0 dn by this is referred as the group refractive index. If the source of light have a certain spectral width delta lambda 0, then each wavelength component will traverse with a different group velocity, resulting in temporal broadening of the pulse. Delta tau is equal to d tau by d lambda 0 into delta lambda 0, or delta tau is equal to minus L by C delta lambda 0 square d2n by d lambda 0 square into delta lambda 0 by this is referred as the material dispersion. It is proportional to the spectral width and length of the fiber L. Its unit is picosecond per kilometer. If we select a fused silica, in the case of fused silica, d2n by d lambda 0 square nearly equal to 0 around a wavelength 1.27 micrometer. So at this particular wavelength 1.27 micrometer, the material dispersion is 0. Then such wavelength is known as zero material dispersion wavelength. In this graph, you see at this particular wavelength nearly equal to 1.27 micrometer, the material dispersion is 0. The graph shows the material dispersion versus the wavelength. The material dispersion here, the material dispersion is 0. So this particular wavelength is known as zero material dispersion wavelength. Now, pulse dispersion. Pulse dispersion is the spread of optical pulse as it travels along the fiber. If we assume that all rays lying between 0 and theta c is the critical angle, then the time taken by a ray corresponding to angle theta is equal to 0 and theta is equal to theta c is equal to cos inverse n2 by n1. The time taken by a ray T minimum is equal to n1 L by c. The time taken by other ray T maximum is equal to n1 square L by c n2, where L is the length of the fiber, c is the velocity of light. If all the input array were excited simultaneously, at the output end, the rays would occupy a time interval of duration. The difference between T maximum and T minimum is equal to N1L by C, N1 by N2 minus 1. If we assume or we consider a particular optical fiber, the refractive index of core is 1.5 and the value of N1 minus N2 by N2 is nearly equal to 0.01. Length of the fiber is 1 kilometer. Then we obtained T maximum minus T minima is nearly equal to 50 nanosecond per kilometer. In this figure, we see that the input pulse are like in this form, but after traveling through the fiber, the pulses are overlapped. There are overlapping in the pulses, means no clear information can be found by the receiver. So always we try to minimize the pulse dispersion in communication. In the case of graded index fiber, the refractive index profile is just like for core n square is equal to n1 square 1 minus 2 delta r by a power q. For cladding, n square is equal to n2 square is equal to n1 square 1 minus 2 delta, where r corresponds to a cylindrical radial coordinate. N1 represents the refractive index of the core on the axis of the fiber. Or in other words, we can say at r is equal to 0, the refractive index profile is N1. But in the upper and lower side of the core, where r have some values, the refractive index decreases. N2 represents the refractive index of the cladding. In the cladding, the refractive index is homogeneous, or we can say the refractive index is constant throughout the cladding. For Q is equal to 1, Q is equal to 2, Q is equal to 3, Q is equal to 8, and Q is equal to infinite. There are different profiles are there. For Q is equal to 1, the variation of refractive index is linear. For Q is equal to 2, the variation of refractive index of core is different. For 8 is different, and for Q is equal to infinite, the refractive index of the core is nearly constant, and at that point the graded index fiber behaves like a step index fiber. We use array optics to study the dispersion characteristics. We should mention that ray optics is applicable to highly multi-mode fiber is that when the waveguide parameter V is greater than or equal to 10, where V is equal to twice pi by lambda 0 into A root n1 square minus n2 square. N is the number of modes. N is nearly equal to Q by 2 plus Q into V square, where V square is the waveguide parameter. If Q is equal to 1, which is the parabolic index medium, and the waveguide parameter is 10, substituting the value of Q and V in the above equation, we find the number of modes is nearly equal to 25, Similarly, if we select Q is equal to 4, Q is equal to 8, and Q is equal to any numbers, the number of modes varies. In step index fiber, if Q is equal to infinite and the waveguide parameter is 10, we suppose there are 50 modes. When the fiber supports such a large number of modes, then the ray description should give very accurate result. This figure represent a graded index multimode fiber. Here the input pulse is like this, and after traveling through the fiber we find an output pulse just like this. Here the refractive index profile is varies within the core. After dispersion we find the output pulse is broadens in comparison to the input pulse.